You know, when you're in a grocery store and everything you could possibly want is just there? Or when you're on the highway and there's that endless stream of trucks, we take it all completely for granted. But have you ever wondered, what if one day all of that just stopped?
No, really. Think about it. What would actually happen if every single truck in America just stopped? Every semi, every delivery van, all of them. Parked. It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But digging into the answer reveals something pretty shocking about the modern world we've all built.
The American Trucking Association calls trucking the lifeblood of the economy. And honestly, that's not an exaggeration at all. It's like this massive, invisible circulatory system for our entire society. It's delivering everything, from the food we eat to the gas in our cars, even the life-saving medicine that ends up in our hospitals.
And get this, over 80%. That's how much of all the stuff in the US is moved by truck. It's a huge, huge dependency. So the real question is, why would a stoppage be so catastrophic, so immediate? Well, the answer comes down to this one business philosophy that completely changed the game for modern logistics.
It's something called just-in-time inventory. And it's this weird paradox, right? It's both a marvel of modern efficiency and maybe our single biggest weakness.
So this whole idea was pioneered by Toyota way back after World War II, and the goal was super simple: eliminate waste. Think about it. Why would you pay a ton of money to store giant warehouses full of parts when you could just have trucks deliver exactly what you need right when you need it? The whole system is designed for maximum, razor-thin efficiency.
And this is where you really see the trade-off. On one hand, just in time, it slashes costs. It makes businesses super agile. But on the other hand, it creates a system with basically zero buffer, no safety net. It's all built on this one single assumption, that the trucks will always be flowing perfectly, without a single interruption.
And this Reddit comment just nails it. The system is designed for their convenience/profit, not yours. It really gets to the heart of the issue, doesn't it? Our modern supply chain isn't built for resilience. It's not built to withstand shocks. It's built for profit. It assumes the trucks are always going to run on time. So what happens when that assumption completely breaks down?
Well, it wouldn't be a slow burn. The collapse would be fast and it would be severe. So let's start a hypothetical clock and just watch the dominoes fall.
So what would this actually look like? Well, according to folks at the American Trucking Associations and other logistics experts, the first 72 hours are just this terrifying cascade of failures. Let's walk through it. Okay, so within the very first day, this stops being about just an inconvenience. This becomes about the failure of critical things we absolutely take for granted.
Hospitals? They'd stop getting basic stuff. We're talking syringes and catheters. Gas stations, especially the busy ones, they'd start running dry. Those assembly lines that depend on JIT, they grind to a halt. Mail, Amazon packages, forget about it. It all stops. And you'd start to see the very first signs of food shortages in grocery stores.
By day 2, this thing has spiraled way beyond just supply chains. Now it's a full-blown public crisis. The dominoes are falling faster and faster, and they start hitting an area that we all think of as digital and totally safe: our money.
Yeah, you heard that right. Even our money isn't safe. Banks rely on armored trucks, right, to move physical cash and process all that paper. Without them, the whole financial system just seizes up. ATMs would run out of cash, and basic banking would just stop working.
And by day 3, the situation is getting truly dire. Panic buying would have stripped the grocery stores completely bare. Fuel would be nothing but a memory. And then you have a whole new public health crisis brewing, because garbage collection has stopped. And it's not just the roads. Even our trains and those massive container ships, they'd be stranded too. Why? Because they all rely on trucks for that crucial first and last mile of the journey.
Okay, let's jump forward. After just 1 week without trucks, the world as we know it, it's just gone. This is where we hit the point of total, systemic, cascading failure.
With no fuel, all travel, personal cars, public transit, airplanes, it all just stops. Society is paralyzed. You can't get to work. More importantly, you can't get to a hospital for medical care. And speaking of hospitals, the ones still functioning would be facing a new nightmare as their limited supplies of medical oxygen start to run out. But believe it or not, the most terrifying consequence, the final domino, is still yet to fall. You know, of all the complex interlocking systems that we depend on, there is one that is more fundamental, more essential than any other. And you guessed it is completely dependent on trucks. The process itself is actually pretty simple.
You take water from a source, like a river or a reservoir, you clean it with a very precise mix of chemicals to make it safe to drink, and then you pump it out to our homes. Simple, right? Life-sustaining. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. According to the EPA and water industry experts, most of these water treatment plants, they don't store huge amounts of these essential chemicals. They operate on that same fragile model we've been talking about, a just-in-time delivery schedule.
This is the timeline from the American Trucking Associations. Within 2 to 4 weeks, that's it. The nation's entire supply of clean drinking water would be gone. The water might still flow from the tap, sure, but it wouldn't be safe to drink unless you boiled it. And that would lead to widespread illness, completely overwhelming a healthcare system that's already shattered.
So, what's the big takeaway here? This whole thought experiment isn't really about some doomsday scenario. It's about pulling back the curtain and revealing the hidden architecture of our civilization.
Our modern world is this unbelievably complex machine. Every single gear has been optimized for maximum speed and minimum cost. But in doing that, we've created a system where the failure of one tiny part can cause the entire machine to just grind to a halt.
And that leaves us with a really big question to think about. We've built this entire world that runs on a knife's edge of efficiency. Is our greatest strength, that efficiency, also our biggest vulnerability? It's definitely something to think about the next time you see one of those trucks rolling down the highway, quietly keeping the gears of our world turning.